Legends tell of a mighty warrior who wielded a fearsome weapon, one that shook the very foundations of the 9 realms. His name was Thor, the god of thunder, and his hammer, Mjölnir, was not just a tool of war, but a symbol of hope and justice. Join us today as we delve into the lore and uncover 5 incredible facts about Thor's legendary hammer Mjölnir. Before we start, remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our awesome videos. Also, stick around until the end to learn about a special offer just for you. But for now, let's turn our attention to the world of Norse mythology and the mighty Thor. Number 5. Forged by the Dwarven brothers Sindri and Brokkr. The story of Mjölnir begins with 2 Dwarven brothers named Sindri and Brokkr. These master craftsmen were renowned throughout the 9 realms for their skill in metalworking, having forged many magical weapons and artifacts for gods and mortals alike. One day, the brothers decided to create a masterpiece, a hammer that would be unlike any other. They toiled over their anvil, hammering and shaping the metal until it was perfect. When they were finished, they presented the hammer to Thor, who was so impressed by its craftsmanship that he immediately accepted it as his own. Mjölnir was not just any ordinary hammer. It was a weapon of immense power, capable of shaking the very foundations of the 9 realms. With its unbreakable head and unbreakable handle, it became Thor's signature weapon, one that he would use to defend the innocent and punish the wicked. Sindri and Brokkr had created something truly special, a hammer that would become a legend. Number 4. Said to always return to Thor's hand when thrown. Mjölnir was more than just a powerful weapon, it was also incredibly convenient. Norse mythology tells us that once Thor threw his hammer, it would always return to his hand no matter how far away it went. This handy ability allowed Thor to fight with reckless abandon, knowing that he would always be able to retrieve his weapon. In fact, there are many stories of Thor using this ability to trick his enemies, making them think he had missed them, only to snatch the hammer back at the last second and smash them over the head. This must have been pretty intimidating for Thor's opponents, knowing that they couldn't escape the god of thunder's wrath no matter where they ran. Imagine being on the receiving end of that. Just as Thor was about to strike you down, his hammer suddenly flew back into his hand and he started laughing at your futile attempts to escape. Talk about a bad day. But it wasn't just convenience that made Mjölnir such an effective weapon. Its ability to always return to Thor's hand also showed his mastery over it. After all, Thor was the only one who could wield the hammer with its full power, and if he lost it, he would lose his main source of power. That's why Thor was so determined to get Mjölnir back in his hand. No matter what, he knew that its power could help him save Midgard from danger and protect his people. So if you ever find yourself on the wrong side of a battle with Thor, keep an eye on that hammer. You never know when it might come flying back to smash you. No 3. Its strikes could summon lightning and thunder. The power of Thor's hammer Mjölnir was truly awe-inspiring. When he swung it, lightning flashed and thunder boomed across the sky. It was as if the hammer itself was a conduit for the raw power of nature, allowing Thor to control the very elements. In Norse mythology, Thor was known as the god of thunder for a reason, and Mjölnir was the source of that power. With each strike of the hammer, he could summon bolts of lightning that crackled and sparked across the battlefield, leaving his enemies charred and smoking. But Thor's control over the weather didn't stop there. He could also call upon massive thunderstorms that shook the ground and sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors. And when Mjölnir struck the earth, it was said that the very mountains trembled before its might. Just imagine the sheer force it took to level those colossal peaks. It's no wonder then that Thor was so feared by his enemies. He was literally the god of thunder. And when he unleashed the full force of his mighty hammer Mjölnir, there was no hope of survival. But it wasn't just brute force that made Mjölnir such a powerful weapon. Its ability to control the weather also gave Thor a strategic advantage in battle. He could summon rain to quench his allies' thirst, or use lightning to blind his enemies. He could also unleash blizzards and storms to hinder his opponent's movements or cause earthquakes to shake them to their core. Thor's mastery of the elements was unmatched, and his hammer, Mjölnir, was the key to his power. No. 2. So powerful, only Thor could lift it. Not even the strongest mortal could lift Thor's hammer, Mjölnir. Only those deemed worthy by the ancient dwarves who forged it would be granted the strength to hold it. But why was Mjölnir so heavy? There must have been some serious weight behind that mighty warhammer. Well, it wasn't just for show. The weight of Mjölnir symbolized the immense power it contained. To wield such power, one must be worthy, both in strength and character, and Thor was the only one who met these high standards. But it wasn't just Thor's physical strength that allowed him to lift Mjölnir. He also had to prove himself to be worthy of its power. After all, the hammer was a tool of justice, and Thor was the god of thunder, known for his bravery, strength, and unwavering determination to protect the innocent. This is evident in the story of when Mjölnir was stolen by Loki, the god of mischief. Even though Thor was initially unable to lift the hammer without its return, he refused to give up. He trained and proved his worthiness until he regained the power to wield Mjölnir and defeat his enemies. This just goes to show that Thor wasn't just a brute force. He had to earn the right to be called the god of thunder, and only when he was worthy could he lift and use Mjölnir to its full potential. So while it may seem like a simple feat, lifting Thor's hammer was actually a test of character, strength, and determination. It wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a test of one's will and resolve. Number 1, it was the protector of gods and mortals alike, against the giants. The legendary hammer of Thor, Mjölnir, was not just a weapon of mass destruction, but also a symbol of hope and justice for both gods and mortals. Its power was so great that even the giants, who were known for their immense strength and ferocity, feared the wrath of Thor when he swung Mjölnir. The mere sight of the hammer was enough to make them tremble in their boots. Why were the giants so afraid of Mjölnir? Well, it wasn't just because of its size and sharpness. It was because the hammer represented everything they hated about the gods. It stood for justice, fairness, and protection of the weak, something the giants despised. The giants were known for their destructive and violent behavior, often attacking the realm of the gods and causing chaos and destruction wherever they went. Thor and his mighty hammer were the first line of defense against these attacks, a bulwark that kept the giants at bay. Whenever the giants got too close for comfort, Thor would raise Mjölnir and let loose a thunderous roar that shook the very foundations of the 9 realms. The giants would scatter like mice before a cat, knowing that they were no match for the god of thunder. Mjölnir was also a symbol of hope for mortals who lived in constant fear of the giants. They knew that if the giants ever broke through the gods' defenses, they would be next on the chopping block. But as long as Thor and Mjölnir stood against the giants, they knew they were safe. In many ways, Mjölnir was more than just a weapon. It was a beacon of light in a dark and dangerous world. In the end, Mjölnir was not just a hammer. It was the will of Asgard itself, an embodiment of its power and majesty. The stories of Thor and his mighty weapon continue to inspire awe and wonder in those who hear them. And Mjölnir will forever be remembered as one of the most powerful and iconic weapons in Norse mythology. But what do you think? Did you know about Mjölnir before watching this video? What's your favorite fact about Thor's legendary hammer? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more epic tales and historical adventures. We've got plenty more where this came from. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time and legend. And until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and always remember to stay in the moment.